Did you check out any of that shit about that Eric Weinstein fuck? Did you see any of that?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah. It's kind of like, I kind of knew already. Guy's an idiot.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but
guy's a freaking an idiot.
it was enjoyable to see him get like incredibly humiliated by a guy who is being like way too polite to him. Actually, that
Right.
the Piers Morgan thing. Yeah, it was pretty satisfying because I've hated that guy for, I don't know, a good while now. And it's the first time I've really seen him like squirm, because usually he just goes on like agreeable podcasts or whatever.
Right. That's what all those little fucks do.
He had a Red Scare Anna on his own podcast at some point. Yeah. I bet that conversation was thrilling. I made it maybe 5 seconds into a clip or something before I was like, I'm into wasting my life, but I'm not that committed.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that pisses on the future graves of Brett and Eric Weinstein from the eternal present. How's that for geometric unity? It is 11 a.m. Korea Standard Time, Sunday, actually. Look at that. It's Sunday, June 8th, year of our Lord and the snake. You're currently hearing the previously decompressed nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor as rhythmic speech patterns of me, Joshua. How am I not myself? Nomen Mutatio. And astrally projecting to us all the way from the precise geocoordinates of Korea town is Tim Namdaekum Buckner. That's a good one. What's up, Tim?
Thank you. Oh, it's going good. It's always nice to be back on the only podcast that has always stood firm with Comrade Dog the Bounty Hunter saying no ice in paradise. Josh, how are you?
Doing well. Well.
Gotta get Red Bar on the case to catch that sneaky vape hit that you were doing there. Break it down for a couple hours.
No one but
yeah.
the quick-witted Red Bar would know.
But yeah, I guess to me the biggest thing is not like the Trump Musk, though we will talk about it. It is all of this ICE activity that's going on, especially here in LA. It's kind of out of control.
Yeah.
There was the guy who was like someone who worked for, I think, the Post or one of the big papers out here, almost getting ran over by an ICE field agent because they refused to basically stop. I mean, yes, he was trying to blockade their vehicle, but they literally just kept driving into him, and he was basically bouncing trying to keep his footing while getting pushed forward by the car. Like, it was crazy when you watch the footage, and then finally just lost it and fell down, and they slammed on the brakes before running him over, but it was pretty close, and it's like, why even fucking risk that? It's like, it really felt like, as they say, like, oh, America uses Israel as like a way to test out basically what we're going to do in the future. And that whole argument they did where they're like, isn't Hamas so evil for using human shields? And you just pointed at it and go like, yeah, but you're the one who keeps shooting them. Like, the idea of the human shield isn't like, oh, it's so bad that you're making me shoot these people. It's that you don't shoot. And it's like the same thing. It's like a physical person putting their body to just blockade an SUV from leaving, and you're refusing to not just try to drive over them, basically. And it's like, oh yeah, it is, that is like the test. Israel really is the test case for the fucking evil, demented, fascist bullshit that we're going to bring home as soon as possible. And, good news, Donald Trump is walking out on UFC as we speak. So, there's a UFC pay-per-view tonight, and Trump is in the building, and the crowd is just as excited as ever to see one of the most evil men in the fucking planet. So that's cool.
Yeah, I saw something from your town's mayor just a second before we got on here. I didn't even really have a chance to read it, but it was summed up on the TrueAnon subreddit as liberals siding with fascists like clockwork. Yeah, she's probably just doing some kind of mealy-mouthed press release style bullshit, I would assume, about the protests. But everyone's really talking about this story. Dr. Squatch says Sydney Sweeney bathwater-infused soap wasn't just a viral gimmick. Yeah, breaking news, folks. Breaking news from maybe 2 weeks ago or something now. Oh, no, not even that long ago. Got a June 3rd timestamp here. I just thought it would be funny to mention this dumb story up at the top, which also led to the idea of just doing an old-fashioned grab bag of headline style episode this week. There's no focused singular topic, but we'll see. We may be back to that next week.
Right.
We're doing some throwback shit. Throwback to so long ago, I'm sure. But yeah, so I mean, the real headline is, fellas, get out the credit cards. Sydney Sweeney's bathwater, her real bathwater she's bathed in, has been turned into soap that you can buy and presumably solely use to jack off with.
Yeah, which is not good. I don't like. Have you ever gotten soap in your pee hole? It does not feel nice. I don't know why you would want to do that.
But maybe there's something that's in this incredibly overly long article that I did not read all of.
Sure.
But maybe there's something in there about a gentle, no urethral style tears chemical makeup of this soap. Maybe it's made for jerking off safely without that sting. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to add to this other than it's hilarious that there's even an article trying to say it's not like the most viral gimmick thing possible is not just a viral gimmick somehow.
Right.
And also, I did not dig into this. I don't know how many sales have really happened. It looks like it's limited. It's like a 5,000 items limited supply thing. Yeah, it just seems like another drop in the bucket of people are lonely and desperate and weird to want this. And it's obviously, it's specifically aimed at men, shockingly, I guess.
Right.
You said there was something connected to this when I sent it to you. I can't remember what it was. Someone else tried something like this?
So
what was that? What was that?
No, Belle Delphine literally was selling gamer girl bathwater for $30 a pop. Jars of her bathwater. It was a big meme and all this and that. But they literally tried to fucking take her out over it. They did like a study. They tested the water. They said basically like it's illegal for her to be selling it because it contains, whatever microbes and things from. They actually tested the water to prove it, and it yeah, it says right here on the AI overview, initially successful. Delphine faced challenges with PayPal, which froze her account and took $90,000 in fines, but eventually released the money to her several years later.
Huh.
They tried to fucking cancel her. They tried to take her money. They tried to get her sent to jail for doing basically this. And then you just turn around and it's like, it's perfectly fine now. And it's just like we were kind of talking about it a little bit ago. I don't know if that was off the air, but like just the way culture moves on and moves forward. Now it's totally fine. But when she did it, as a stunt or whatever, it was, they tried to, again, like I said, they tried to fucking get her thrown in jail, basically, people were talking about, which is insane.
Yeah, I completely missed that one, but maybe the issue was the packaging.
Right.
I don't know.
The idea...
This looks like a real professional outfit by like an existing soap company or whatever Squatch is.
And the idea would be that they probably pasteurize it in some way so it doesn't have contaminants, right? And it's soap or whatever, so whatever. But still, it's kind of like, And
the other thing I imagine is that it's complete bullshit, and there is no such bathwater. Sure.
Well, like I said, I mean, if she took a bath in water and then you boiled it to remove everything, how is it still the same water? Is it the same river? No man steps in and steps out of the same river situation here,
Referencing my main man, pre-Socratic philosopher Heraclitus, y'all. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is flux. I actually, when I was thinking about this story, I was, just thinking on it real hard for hours and hours.
Yes, of course.
I imagined like some of the most desperate, whatever, imagine the basement dwelling incel type whatevers who buy
the term is you just say
shit.
Gamers.
Yeah, the gamers saying gamer words and frothing up their penises with bathwater. So now I imagine like the worst of them like doing some sort of like, I don't know, deconstructing the soap to like extract the bathwater from it and then just drink it, slurp it down, which is where obviously this whole thing comes from is, damn, she's so fine, I'd drink her bathwater, and so on. Sure.
But then also, I guess if you drink her bathwater, then that means you're like a Republican or something. Wasn't that part of the thing too? Like, she's right-wing coded because she's got big tits?
I forgot about that stupid shit. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So
right.
Then it's
make America love tits again. There was that whole... Yeah, you're right. I did, like, while I was looking up the soap thing, I did come across some of those articles as well. Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because, like, Dr. Squatch is kind of like kind of soy coated in some ways. I guess maybe not, but it feels a little bit like it is. I guess anything that's about like showering.
Yeah, that's the antithesis to the what's his fucking name, Asmongold set.
Right. Never wash your ass. Right. I use this soap and it does not touch my ass. It never once has. Nothing touches in there. Damn it.
Well, speaking of weird sexuality, also another kind of throwaway bit here, but something it seemed related enough and something I had not heard of until I saw this article. Have you heard about this TikTok trend of poppin' yolks?
No.
Poppin' Yolks TikTok account. Yeah, I'll read the beginning of this article. A metal fork drags its 4 prongs back and forth across the yolk of an over-easy egg. The lightly peppered fried whites that skin across the runny yolk give a little, straining under the weight of the prongs. The yolk bulges and puckers, and finally the fork flips to its sharp points, bears down on the yolk and rips it open, revealing the thick, bright, cadmium yellow liquid underneath. The fork dips into the yolk and rubs the viscous ovum all over the crispy white edges, smearing it around slowly, coating the prongs. An R&B track plays. So yeah, this is some stupid
This
trend.
is fetish content, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the article is not really it's not really about this at all. This is just their way in. And it worked. It worked on me. I was like, what the fuck? Why is there a picture of an egg with like, it's like blurred out like Japanese porn. But its point
That's the next thing we're gonna copy from them. We're getting there.
Pixelating genitals. What?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, Texas, right? They outlawed porn.
It hasn't been outlawed yet, but there's various proposals that have been like popping up in the news. I don't know, I guess recently.
It's age verification thing, really. Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, there are people that I think have claimed to want to just completely I don't know if legislation has been introduced on that, but certain lawmakers saying they would actually want to just outright ban all pornography. Good luck with that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this article is more, and I don't even really want to get into it, but it's more about, these anti-porn laws and how they're really just a smokescreen for going after like whatever objectionable free speech, period. This is just kind of the way into that is to, but it's like, it's kind of a stupid tactic, because how many people are really on board with this? Like that's the way in, is like, oh yes, the great mass of the United States is really into outlawing all pornography. Like, that's just not the case. It's just like a handful of weirdos who would actually sincerely, push for something like that.
Right.
So I wonder what the point of any of it is. Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe it's just actual weird ideological freaks who do genuinely think they could manage to outlaw pornography.
Right.
But yeah,
they're going to try.
And yeah, the egg thing is just the way in, by saying like according to some of this legislation, because it's like some of it is so vague. It's like anything intended to arouse, like any content intended to arouse that could apply to this, kind of quote unquote funny egg popping videos. And that would be absurd, wouldn't it? So just, that was their way of highlighting that. And then there's just like a series of things I saw over the last 2 weeks that just all I would file under weird time warp shit. It's like culture war time warp shit. And then it makes me wonder, like, did any of this stuff actually really kind of fade away or really die down? Maybe it's always just kind of been there, like a low volume that I just don't notice. And like, maybe I'm just noticing it more recently. But anyway, at the top of the list, I did discover this thing that I think happened like a year ago, the Trump Bibles. Trump is, I don't know if he's actually 100% connected to the company that makes these things, but he's endorsed it. So he must be getting a cut or something. Anyway, there's a series of Bibles called God Bless the USA Bible. And there are like a whole bunch of them. Yeah, there's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 different editions of this God Bless the USA Bible on their official website, godblesstheusabible.com. 3 of them are sold out, it says. The Gold Edition Bible, the Day God Intervened Edition Bible, and the Inauguration Day Edition Bible. But you can still buy a personalizable, customizable God Bless the USA Bible, a one with Trump's signature, a pink and gold edition, a camo edition for you troops out there, Patriot edition, veteran edition, another Inauguration Day edition. Yeah, I mean they're all $100 each.
No, that's fair.
Seems legit. Seems pretty legit. You can get a First Lady edition.
I mean, at least you get something with that, because like the Trump coins is just like you get nothing. You buy Trump tokens, and it's like part of the thing is you can't even sell them like normal cryptocurrency.
Right.
You're buying basically like trading cards, which I guess he had those too. He had those Trump trading card NFTs. So at least you actually get a Bible with these.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we can argue how much value that is, but at least it tangibly exists.
You can get a physical copy of the book that you can read for free online or steal from a hotel, at least in ages past. I think that's probably done for. That was a thing. That was a thing for a long time. I would be surprised if it still is anywhere, I guess, but maybe not. I don't know. I've lost touch with the real America.
The last hotel I went to was not, I mean, technically not in the real America because it was Arizona. Well, I guess Arizona's kind of real America. And there was not a Bible that I noticed, so maybe it's not.
I don't know if I've ever actually, like maybe when I was a little kid.
I have.
Long ago.
I for sure have.
I
Yeah,
think, but
I
I
for sure have seen it in the past.
I think the last time I can even possibly remember it was quite a long time ago. But anyway, that's go out, get your $99.99 Trump Bible. Yeah, there's been some there. I saw some video that was like local Texas legislative meeting, and it was like they're trying to put the 10 Commandments in schools. Like that particular.
Oh yeah, that was a great story.
That particular angle is what really gave me the time warp feeling of like, what is this 2004 or whatever?
Right.
Yeah. Did you see that one where like they were holding?
Yeah, and the guy who tried to donate. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like the gotcha question was like, we're working on the Sabbath right now, and the lady who was like pushing for this, put the 10 Commandments in schools was just like humiliated, basically.
No, the thing that I saw was the guy who, like, because the way the law was written, it was like the schools are required to post the 10 Commandments if they're like donated to them. Right? So a guy made like 10 Commandment posters that were in like Arabic and like had like pride flag in the background. And the schools were like, and he donated them to the schools, and they were like, we're not gonna put those up or whatever. And it's like, well, the law set, they obviously doing the gotcha hypocrisy thing, which clearly doesn't matter, but it is funny.
That is
just
fun.
be like,
yeah. That's better than the video I saw. I just saw a guy being like, "Excuse me, what's today? Yeah. What is the Sabbath in the Judeo-Christian tradition?" And yeah, a lot of this shit tends to be happening in Texas. I've noticed. Like I have your anti-cannabis time warp shit, which was in Texas. It was a guy like angrily holding up like some like edibles or something, and he was like, "This is sinful," and like someone was just questioning him, like, "You want to like ban this even for adults?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I don't want anyone having access to this sinful shit." And the funny thing is like he's trying to make it sound so like seedy and bad, and it just looks like I can't tell exactly what it is. Looking at it now, but I think it's literally called like cereal bites. It's like THC cereal bites. He's like, "This trash. No one should have access to this insanity."
Yeah, exactly.
And then in Louisiana, they actually did vote in some bill to ban chemtrails, which is extreme time warp feeling. Like chemtrails, people are still on. Yeah, but they actually, let me see what the numbers were. It passed 58 to 32 in the Louisiana House of Representatives.
Yes.
Which means it hasn't passed into law yet. It still has to go through the Senate, and I would like to think it wouldn't make it. I mean, also, who cares if it passes? Because what the fuck you're just gonna ban all air travel? Then there's no way to not have quote unquote chemtrails in the sky.
Right. Well, no, okay, so this was the thing, like the crazy lady who's like the main person who wrote the bill and put it forward.
Kimberly Landy Coates, yeah.
Yeah, was doing the conversation, and they were telling her, like, listen, the thing that you're talking about isn't real or whatever. And she's like, well, I've seen this and that, and, you know, whatever. And, like, basically it came down to it that it's like there is no enforcement mechanism for the law, basically, because when it comes down to it, like, what it says is the law, I think, technically doesn't say that it's illegal to leave chemtrails. It says you can't intentionally release chemicals from a plane to influence the weather or do mind control or whatever. So it's basically like any
water vapor is a is a chemical.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is that all you have to do is be like, it wasn't intentional. You know, like whatever thing you're upset about was not done intentionally, and then it's not illegal. So it's like, oh, okay, so we actually can't do anything about this, you know? So like, what the fuck is this thing? It's basically just a busy box for an insane person, but she happens to be a fucking state senator or whatever.
Yeah.
State congressperson, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I did see some of the footage of her testimony, and the funniest part of it really was how anyone was taking her seriously and being like politely like asking her questions about it. She's just like, well, I've seen Alex Jones video. Like, no, I mean, that would have given her like more credibility than she was just saying like, I see these lines over in the sky over my house sometimes, and therefore the government is controlling the weather.
She was presenting conspiracy theory information as her proof. I mean, that was not out of the realm of what happened. I don't think she, name checked Alex Jones, but what I saw from the debate.
She even did a bad job of that, is what I'm saying. Like, she didn't even explain like the conspiratorial angle very well. She's just like, I think they're like controlling the weather or something. Maybe she brought up mind control.
Mind control. Yeah. Yep. It's good. It's good stuff. But, the overall, all of it comes back to, like you said, it feels like a throwback. It is. I mean, obviously, it's, what do they call it? Reactionary politics. It's intentionally conservatism. It's basically trying. I'm saying trying. That's fucking weird. How do you say that word? Anyways,
you got it.
It's trying to pull society, people, everything back to, the better time when my grandkids still talk to me or whatever, is the point. But what it misses is like the part of it where it's like, yeah, like the adults in the room, the people who have the power, like the idea was not that they actually have any moral qualms with pornography or marijuana or chemtrails, I guess, but like, that they just want it to be outlawed so it's a mechanism of force. But like if you have the power, you have the money, you will still have the access to these things. That's like the idea. They just want it to be private. Basically what they want is they don't want people to be open and public, because that's the real issue, right? I find it morally objectionable to just have to see it, or the people who I've known people who get high, smoking marijuana, but complain about the smell of other people smoking marijuana in public. You know what I mean? And that is what this is. That is what I want it to be illegal for people to go around smoking marijuana out in the open in the public, but I also still want to do it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's probably all for sort of time warp corner there. A couple things I wanted to catch up on. It's been 2 weeks since the last episode. A bunch of the Biden shit that happened, we didn't get a chance to talk about yet. I just wanted to kind of speed run through some of it.
Well, yeah, R.I.P. Joe. You had a good long run. We all love you, but you're in our hearts and prayers forever.
We did reference his cancer obliquely, I think, last time. But
but we didn't talk about how he died. How he's a dead man who died. It's been confirmed. He's dead.
Some of the stuff that was really sticking in my damn craw was like all of this fucking revisionism going on, and like after the fact ass covering by like, I mean, this started like weeks and weeks ago probably now, but like I think the first thing I saw was like Jen Psaki coming out and being like, I had no idea it was so bad. And like Liz Warren in that like interview clip of her on some podcast, like visibly stifling laughter when the interviewer was like, so you thought he was competent at the time? And she's like, and it's just that's just like so like they're dabbing on us type thing. These gargoyle demons in our government. And then I don't know, the big thing more recently, I guess, was like Jake Tapper, fake fapper, whatever, his stupid fucking book that he wrote. That's like, he's just like pretending like he wasn't alongside everyone else in the media covering for Joe Biden while he was demented visibly for 4 fucking years. I mean, that's the other thing is like, even in the revisionist takes, they're acting like he just suddenly became demented during that debate with Trump.
Right.
But even that, like, even then, like, those people were like on the wrong side of it. Like, you know, I mean, I guess a lot of people did shift right after that debate. That was the tipping point or whatever.
Sure. I mean, I get you, and I understand they're afraid to admit the truth. There's only really one of I'll say our colleagues, one of our brothers in the podcast game, who's willing to speak the truth on this, you know, because like you said, they act like, oh, out of nowhere, he just got it. And you have to give a shout out to, you know, Leslie Lee the third from Struggle Session, because he's the only person who will tell the truth that it was long COVID that made Biden stupid. He got long COVID, and that's why his brain turned to mush. Everyone knows that that's what really happened.
Huh. Hadn't heard that theory, I guess. But then a funny little bit here. Biden challenges Jake Tapper to a fight.
Hell yeah.
It's just classic Biden. It says here, Joe Biden said he could, quote, beat the hell out of CNN's Jake Tapper Friday, firing back against the anchor's new book that painted a damning portrait of his mental capabilities. Biden said, asked by a CNN reporter whether he wanted to respond to the attacks, Biden had a fiery, sarcastic answer. You can see that I'm mentally incompetent. I can't walk. I can beat the hell out of the both of them, he said, seemingly referring to Tapper and Thompson. That was basically that part. And then another, like when the news broke about his prostate cancer, some people like brought up this thing that happened years ago. When did this happen exactly? This is in the very reliable Washington Times. Oh, fuck you. I need to subscribe to read this. Fuck off.
Not worth it.
Whatever. Well, the headline is Joe Biden jokes about faking prostate cancer to get out of Obama administration. Pretty much says it all. Like I listened to the clip or whatever. It was just him, like, I don't know, on some stage somewhere. This was obviously back. I don't know when he actually said this, but he was referring to a time when he was vice president. But yeah, just thought that was kind of funny. Little coincidence there. Also, in what now feels like incredibly ancient news, I just wanted to get to something, another thing we missed, which was when Trump did his Middle East tour. One of the funniest parts of it, I mean, there was the whole thing with accepting the $400 million fighter jet from Qatar, and people like justifying that as not corrupt at all.
Yeah, I mean, well, because they didn't give it to Trump. They gave it to the White House for now, and then his library after.
Library, yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone knows that libraries, most presidential libraries require a jet. That's a big part of presidential library. It's having a jet.
Anyone can check it out, just like a book or a DVD.
Do you remember? I think it was, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where Will Ferrell is like, gas up the jet. He's like a public, like a parks ranger, and he's like, gas up the jet, and they're like, we don't have a jet. And then he goes on a long riff about what happened. We used to have a jet. Everyone used to have a jet. Even I used to have a jet back before the divorce. You know, it's just, yeah, that is most presidential libraries used to have a jet, back before the divorce. And that is a Kevin Smith moment of the episode.
I never saw that one, but
It was actually a deleted scene.
You painted,
so
a
that's
vivid
probably
picture.
why you didn't see it.
I don't think I ever saw that movie. I fell off.
Oh, okay.
I think I did try to watch Clerks 3 at some point.
That I have not seen.
It was not good. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, the thing about the Middle East tour that I thought was really good, though, was what he said about Jolani, the current cool the dictator we like now in Syria. Yeah, like all this guy had to do to get Trump to basically like, and he did follow through on this from what I've read, actually dropped like at least the majority of the like crippling sanctions that have been on Syria for fucking ever now. Like instantly, just with a little flattery from Jolani. Jolani like made some like basically proposition to Trump, and he like said like, "You're such a great guy. We love you, Mr. Trump. We would love to put a Trump Tower in Damascus." It's like, and then you like a few other things. Like the Trump Tower was the funniest one, maybe that I can remember off the top of my head. And then Trump was being interviewed about like they had like I guess like an in-person meeting, and they asked him about it while he was like on Air Force One, and Trump said about Jolani, "Young, attractive guy, tough guy, strong past, very strong past, fighter. He's got a real shot at holding it together." And for those who maybe don't know, Jolani was a high-ranking Al-Qaeda militant for a very, very long time, and arguably still is, just under a different banner. Like the HTS, which he's like the head of now, is just rebranded Al-Qaeda. And Trump's like, not only does he have a strong past, not only am I going to say that this brief sentence about the guy, very strong past. I'm huge into his early shit, that Al-Qaeda strongman stuff.
Yeah.
That I've always been a fan of, you can't find me saying anything otherwise about Al-Qaeda. I dare you. And that kind of ties in with some of the more recent stuff that's happened, like these ridiculous pardons and like granting of clemency that Trump's been doing. Two big ones, I guess, that stand out are he pardoned this insanely corrupt, like caught on camera accepting like literal envelopes of cash for in exchange for what was it, like deputy badges to like basically like rich people in whatever like jurisdiction he was in charge of. Sheriff Scott Jenkins. And like Trump not only did this, but he like, of course, because he just, endlessly posted a big block of text about it, saying how this was actually a good thing, totally justified to like pardon this guy. And then even more sort of obviously pay to play element was this other case of who's this fucking guy? Who's this guy now?
What's this guy? What's his name? Who's this? Never heard of him.
Walzak. This guy who was like a CEO of like a nursing home who just like stole employees' pay, basically like skimmed off the top and had like stole a total of like $11 million, literally like used the money to buy yachts and shit. He pled guilty because like the case was so strong against him. But then his mom went to $1 million per plate fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. And like immediately after this her son got pardoned completely, full unconditional pardon. And he doesn't even have to pay. There was like he was supposed to like basically pay back the people he stole from, like $4 million or something, and now doesn't even have to do that. And it's like, it's just so easy to appeal to Trump's vanity to like get what you want. I mean, I guess she did throw down $1 million, but part of their campaign to like get on Trump's good side. And they also like, in the pardon request said like, which is what these people always say, is like, we were actually targeted because of our support for you, Mr. Trump, sir. Like, that's the only reason we were convicted. It's because people hate you. Some stupid, communists hate you. But yeah, just Very blatant old school mafioso style shit as always. Continuing. Don't worry, it hasn't
It's good.
stopped.
We like it. We're happy that that's what's going on. It's very interesting and exciting, and we love that basically the American the theme of the episode. We don't have a theme for the episode. The theme of the episode is the Japanification of America. Our government is being run by the American Yakuza at this point, which is Donald Trump. The Trump organization is the American Yakuza.
It'd be great if you had one of those elaborate back tattoos.
Yeah, that would be very sick.
They just like take on like new forms with like all his sagging back fats and whatnot. What else is funny about our president? Trump spreads bizarre conspiracy theory that Biden was executed and replaced by a robot clone. I mean, these are the standard headlines, folks. And I mean, this one is so like seems really obviously to me to just be like one of his classic, look over here. Look at this. Don't look at this. Look over here.
Love to see how old Donnie's going to wriggle out of this one. And it's literally, he doesn't even move at this point now. He doesn't even have to wriggle. The world moves around him.
Yeah. I think all he did, classic Trump shit. He like reposted someone else talking about this theory. And that was basically the end of it. I'm sure like it did probably distract a few, I don't know, resistance libs, and I guess people like me, but I didn't even read the fucking article. I was just like, oh, that's a funny headline. And, it just goes into Trump doing 12-dimensional chess. Look over here.
Yeah, exactly.
This.
He's like Trump's version of it's like the pulling the quarter from behind your ear trick is the level of Trump's prestidigitation.
I mean, that would be, I think it's even like stupider than that somehow. It would be like you just pay a guy to just scream on a street corner so everyone has to turn their heads and look, which is how he operates with the tweets and whatnot. What else? I mean, we're playing catch up here, like I said, speed run style. Did you see him lecturing the president of South Africa about the reality of white genocide? That was pretty good. I know we talked a little bit about.
Oh yeah, this was phenomenal.
But we didn't actually talk about this aspect of it where they were like meeting together in the White House, and some reporters were basically like, "Is it true what all these fucking MAGA idiots are saying about there being white genocide?" And he's like, "No, that's insane. It's ridiculous. Here's some facts. You could like look it up." And then Trump's just like, no. Hey, hang on a second. I've heard. I wish he would it would be great if he like couldn't control like it. Maybe when he gets more demented, he'll just start saying who exactly told him what instead of like people are saying. I hope it just turns into like Stephen Miller told me, just make it a little more obvious how fucking bullshit his information is. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all there was to it. I mean, I don't have anything. I don't have like the transcript in front of me. But Trump was just like, I heard the exact opposite. Farmers are being killed by the millions. We got to bring them in. They're the kind of immigrants I like. They just happen to be white.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is actually good, and we need to bring them because this is a real genocide happening because they're white.
And he met with the current chancellor of Germany, who I can't even remember who it is anymore. Anyway, he said, basically the headline of it is Trump says Germany being liberated from Nazis was, quote, not a great day. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
He was not wrong. That's the thing. He's not wrong.
Well, sure. I mean, I think what the full quote is, that wasn't a great day for you guys. But the funny thing is he's like acting like the current chancellor of Germany was like right there in the bunker with Adolf. Like that was a rough one. The way the chancellor was reacting to it too, because he was like trying to be very like serious and like solemn about like, and also just really kiss America's ass, like, basically kind of take a swipe at at the Soviet Union by omission and be like, "You saved us, America. Thank you." That's all he was trying to. He was just trying to do the ass kissing thing to Trump, but Trump being Trump just couldn't just like take the compliment. He had to be like, "That was a rough day for you guys when when Nazism fell. Too bad." I mean, I guess maybe he was just trying. His like default is to be like, just to like puff up like the chest of America even further. But it's like the guy was already like completely simping to you, Trump. Like, he's like, yeah, you say thank you for liberating you, but just reminding you, you fucking lost and we won. I mean, you know, like the joke of it all is like Trump is basically saying it was sad that Nazism fell. It's not really what he meant, but it you know, it comes across that way. Do you say that wasn't a great day for you guys? What else? I don't know. The Golden Dome, whatever.
Right.
It's just, you know, smoke and mirrors, more bullshit. Trump as taco. I mean, this relates to the continued insanity of the tariff stuff, which I don't even like know where it's at this point. It's like it fluctuates so much, which ties into Trump being taco, or the acronym that Trump found out about in a press conference, and he got really pissed off about because it stands for Trump always chickens out, which is apparently what the nihilists on Wall Street say when they're talking about like how to best deal with Trump's erratic, unstable tariffs policies and how they're affecting the market. But yeah, it really pissed him off. And I did see a couple funny things that were like how the resistance lib set was like rejoicing with it. And the first one I saw was just this really pathetic, like chalk graffiti. It wasn't even real graffiti. Someone just like wrote taco in like sidewalk chalk, like near some government building or something. And
yeah, I saw that. And the people, like, they were losing their mind about that one. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh, the MAGA was losing their minds about that?
Yeah.
I didn't even see
the sidewalk chalk graffiti. It was fucking insane.
And then there was something, I don't know. I just all shit I saw in passing, like some Democrats, whatever, like brought in a taco truck or something somewhere, as if this was a big fuck you to Trump. I mean, I guess it is. It's going to piss him off. He's a petty bitch. So that's stupid. But I guess getting into the real meat of the week, the meat, yeah. I mean, as I'm looking at the notes here, you can like see as like the timeline continued, because I had stuff about like the big beautiful bill, which it's hilarious that people are officially calling a spending bill something so Trumpian and stupid. That itself is funny to me. So like I had some stuff about that lined up, and then it was like going to kind of segue into Musk further getting kicked out of the government. But then like the other day it really exploded, as I'm sure everyone is fully aware. It's been the real big story, probably the biggest story of the last 2 weeks, right? The official falling out of with Musk and Trump, right?
Yeah. That's been kind of the biggest thing that like everyone, like I even referenced it in the beginning. It's like everywhere. It's what everyone keeps talking about. And we honestly even were talking about it when it was just like early grumblings. I mentioned about the whole timeline thing with like being a special, whatever, envoy, you know, special employee, not fucking vetted, doesn't have clearances, that Musk had to leave. But the funniest thing about it is like that these motherfuckers, it's like in wrestling, they call it like working yourself into a shoot. These motherfuckers don't know how to just like not like control their emotions in any way and just save face. It's like, again, they had to like come up with a cover story for why Elon was leaving instead of sticking around, and not be as blatant as like, well, I'm losing money because of this, and I don't want to actually get fucking like clearances and follow any kind of, you know, review to be allowed to continue to work for the government. So we're gonna pretend like there's like a bit of a falling out, but again, they work themselves into a shoot where they like end up actually fighting over it and fucking calling each other pedophiles over it, when it's like really you guys should have been it should have been pretty easy for you to amicably split, behind the scenes. So it's just, again, it's men with fucking pudding for brains,
Yeah, it's like two guys with extreme daddy issues further playing out daddy issues amongst themselves. It seems like at the root of a lot of like the more like unhinged elements of it, like the way Musk has like really lashed out like beyond the pale. Like there were several points where it was not beyond the point of return. Like how am I phrasing that? Double negatives. It was not the point of no return yet, but obviously I think the big turn was the Epstein files accusation, which itself is like, it's just everything Musk does is so fucking he cannot do anything in a cool manner at all. Even though it's like it's funny, like it's only funny because it's Musk doing it, and like in the context of this, but it's like everybody's like, even MAGA nation, like at least maybe not, I don't know, but I think even like the biggest cultists of Trump have to have heard, especially since they're really invested in like their own, take on the Epstein saga, right? Like, it's purely Democrat elite pedophiles involved in that. But no, yeah, like how could you not know that Trump was like best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for like 10 years? And
everyone knows he's in the damn files because
he's on the flight
that
logs.
Means nothing, He's on the flight logs. There's tons of pictures of them. Isn't like introduced each other to fucking people. Oh, you know what I mean? There's like so many connections. That's not obviously, but it's shorthand, right? It's shorthand for like something worse or whatever.
Yeah. I think Epstein himself said that like, there's like maybe a voice recording of it even of.
Right. That this is part of the Bannon interviews, the Steve Bannon interviews.
Yeah. He said that Trump and Melania fucked for the first time on the Lolita Express. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, that was the connection. Yes, it was like there was like the implication that I heard. It's probably like a TrueAnon kind of thing, allegedly that like Trump purchased Melania from brokered through fucking Epstein, right? That's kind of the thing.
I hadn't heard that angle, but I mean it's as plausible as any of this shit, probably, right?
Right. Yeah, because that's part of the thing that people don't understand is it's like or I guess people somewhat understand it, but they overlook it because there's so much other nastiness to think about. But like the idea that like Ghislaine and Epstein like served a purpose, it was like they were high, socialite, celebrity, millionaire matchmakers. Just, those kind of sickos want to be matched with a certain kind of person, right? If you understand, like a lot of times it's, children, but sometimes it's like, a middle-aged Ukrainian lady or whatever.
Did you see that, why is his name escaping me? The guy who was like OJ's lawyer.
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz.
The
Dersh.
You gotta hit this thing.
Alan Dershowitz said recently that he thinks Trump should pardon Ghislaine. I just remember that.
He should.
You said Ghislaine.
He should. That's. I mean, with everything else he did, it's right up the alley. It makes sense because he pardoned all of his shooters from the fucking J6 Mafia. Like, yeah, he should also pardon Ghislaine. Like, she's an old school Trump shooter. Like, it's just the block is hot. He'll probably wait and pardon her. She'll be one of the out the door pardons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, like, nothing is really, almost nothing is like off the table. It seems like, this is something I guess has been said many times on this podcast at the very least. I could see it happening like tomorrow. It's like nothing would really surprise me at this point. Cause like I wasn't I'm not even surprised by like when this thing exploded with Musk and Trump. I mean, I'd been, I mean, not trying to make it sound like it was a unique prediction, but I was saying a lot that like this thing has to, like, it went actually a little bit longer than I expected, I guess, that the Trump Musk alliance. I thought it would maybe be over in like 3 months. I was trying to remember how quickly did he cast Bannon out of the White House. It was, in my mind, like Bannon was around longer than I thought, but then I was like looking it up the other day, and I think it was like 2017, which is, you know, obviously the first year.
I think that Bannon was one of these guys who was similar to Musk, was released from official White House duties, but stayed on as a, what do they call it? Like, oh God, why can't I think of the word? A consultant or whatever, you know what I mean? In an unofficial, like, because they play that shit fast and loose in the Trump organization, especially when it comes to official White House business, because a lot of the people don't want to be, because even if all you're trying to do is get like a clearance, they can say like, we need to be able to sit you down and ask you questions in front of Congress or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they just don't want to deal with that. So yeah, I think that Bannon was a guy who got, left the White House and official duties, but continued to be, they said, like, behind the scenes, he was still continuing to like influence Trump and be a confidant or whatever.
See, I think it's, that can't be the case with Musk, right? I mean, like, all he wants from Musk is his money, obviously.
Right.
But that's why I think this seems like a more, like, you know, of course, some people were like saying like this is all a fucking op. This is kayfabe, whatever. I don't buy that at all. This is for real falling out. I think, because I think part of the reason I'm convinced it's not that is, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for several reasons. But like Trump's attitude throughout this whole thing has been like weirdly reserved for him. Like you know he could go way fucking harder at Musk if he wanted to than he has so far, that I've seen, at least, like in this, you know, back and forth tweet storms, whatever. Like Trump is actually kind of taken the high ground, it seems like. I mean, what's your take on that?
Somewhat. Yeah, I feel like you said, the trade-off is like, obviously he wants his money, and then it's very funny because I haven't heard anybody, say this, but like instantly the second I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, that's it. Like the Genius bill that they're talking about, have you've heard about this? Like, they're trying to pass this thing that they're calling the Genius bill. And I'm like, that's the Musk bill. That's like all of the stuff that he's giving to Musk, which includes the thing that has the states are not allowed to regulate AI.
Oh,
like, that's the stuff that he's giving to Musk.
That's in the big, beautiful bill. I don't know about this Genius bill.
They were referring to something as the Genius bill.
I don't know.
Crypto. It has crypto stuff in it, and it has it has stuff to do with AI. Yes, the Genius Act. It's a major crypto bill, and that's the Trump. That's the Trump to Musk gift.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's like the trade-off.
I had heard about the AI. Basically, it was like it's like a 10-year ban on all regulations to do with AI, and I think that's falls within this big, beautiful bill. Maybe the Genius Act is something like a sub thing or something like that.
The Genius Act it has to do with
Genius
cryptocurrency.
Act.
Cryptocurrency, yeah.
So that's separate
it's
from
all
this
about
AI
deregulating.
thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about deregulating cryptocurrency, and that's why it's the Dogecoin Act, basically. But they call it the Genius Act because that's why I said, I think it's insane that no one has put the two and two together. Like, it's about saying that, oh, Musk, he's the genius, because that's such a big deal. They Trump refers to him as a genius, everyone, blah, blah, blah. So the Genius Act is it's the Musk bill, and it's the one that's will deregulate crypto and make all of that. It's allowing for stable coins to be issued from basically all tech companies. People are talking about how Facebook or whatever, Meta, Google, they all want to like create their own cryptocurrencies, right?
Right.
Off of this. And obviously Musk will be greatly involved with that because he's a big crypto guy. He's also a big tech company guy, right? So that's like the giveaway to him is like he puts, millions into the elections and into Trump's pocket, and he gets billions back through this crypto deregulation bullshit.
I wonder if that's being abandoned though now because of the falling out or not. I mean, I guess that would.
We'll see.
The other thing Musk was presumably pissed off about, because I mean, this all started with. I don't think we even need to recap the whole fucking drama that much. It's been fucking everywhere. I'm sure everyone has seen every fucking tweet along the way, but just to briefly summarize, like this all started essentially. I mean, this has been like we said, like kind of like bubbling up, gradually boiling over for, I don't know, at least like a month, if not longer now, like the signs that there was some sort of falling out coming. I mean, the main thing was that his, like you said before, his official capacity as a special government employee was coming to an end at like the end of May anyway. But if they really wanted to, they could have just like put him on in some further official capacity. Maybe part of the reason he didn't want anything to do with that. Additionally, as you said, like then he can be like, summoned before Congress and so on. Like maybe it's similar
Right.
to the, kicking Bannon out, but like keeping him on unofficially thing. But maybe the further reason for that was, because at the same time all this happens, there was a big expose, whatever, in the New York Times about his Musk's drug use. So maybe he just didn't want to take a drug test to be an official government employee. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. I do have the tweet that Trump put out in 2017. I wanted to look up exactly when he cut Bannon loose. It was
Okay.
So Bannon managed to stay officially, at least in the government longer than Musk did. He made it till August 19th, 2017. But Trump's tweet about this is so brief and like, I'll just read it. Donald J. Trump says, "I want to thank Steve Bannon for his service. He came to the campaign during my run against crooked Hillary Clinton. It was great. Thanks, S." End of tweet. Sloppy Steve.
We love Sloppy Steve.
Sloppy Steve also is like maybe the happiest, just totally jacking off to the timeline while the Musk Trump split happened, because he's been like egging this on from the beginning, going hard at Musk pretty much the whole time.
Right.
It's all very, very Jerry Springer-esque, very I don't know. I feel like it'd almost be an insult to say it's like wrestling, like professional wrestling, but just people cheering on the soap opera-ness, the tabloidness of it all. Myself included. I was pretty psyched when I saw the relationship ending tweet about, most people don't know this, but actually Trump is connected to Epstein. The actual tweet that Musk made of that was so fucking stupid. The way he ended it with like, "Have a good day, DJT," or whatever. God, there's just too many in this timeline. I can't even find that one. God, these people just are constantly fucking posting. It really is a mental illness. Oh, I think the thing I was going to say earlier before I sort of derailed myself was Musk was presumably mad, I guess, about the slighting the EV mandate in the bill. Basically, It was just him like personally not getting certain government contracts in addition to the billions he has already. I think it's Kyle Kalinske. He always points out that Musk's total government contracts to this date equates to him getting like something like $6 or $8 million a day. Real welfare queen. That's a term I coined. I think like maybe the harshest thing Trump did that I saw, at least, like, I mean, I'm realizing these fucking freaks just constantly post, so I might have missed some stuff. I'm getting all of this like aggregated by secondhand places, but like,
wait, hold on. Sorry, I lost track of what was going on there for a moment. I meant to before you moved on to say earlier you derailed yourself. It must be that you got that Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap.
Yes.
So edit that back in to where it would make sense, please. Thank
No,
you.
this is a meta derailment. Meta derailment, so it's staying in as is. Also, that's
Perfect,
more work
perfect.
for me.
True.
Damn it, truly derailed. I forgot what I was saying.
Put the
Trump
soap
get-
away, Josh.
Musk getting lots of money from the government, whatever. I don't know. Is there any like element of the feud that we didn't talk about that you want to bring up? I can't.
No.
There were so many things, and again, everyone's probably heard it all multiple times by now. But
Right.
oh no, okay.
As-
Here's what I was gonna say.
Oh,
the
go.
harshest thing that I saw Trump say and retaliate with was like, well, how we could really save money is by cutting Elon's many, billions in subsidies that he's getting. And then I think
Right.
like basically right after that, we should point out that God, it's so pathetic. He's so endlessly fucking cringe and lame, Musk. He deleted the fucking Epstein tweet, like probably right after that, like, we're going to take your money or whatever. I think another funny thing, I'm just like remembering the random bits now. Musk's suggesting that he should start a third political party. It's hilarious. Yeah, whatever. To actually slightly circle back to the big beautiful bill thing, there was two instances of Republican town halls where people were in very deep red districts where people were, I don't know, really holding these representatives' feet to the fire. And I mean, one of them was this fucking guy, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Just this lame guy who was just being shouted down in a pretty funny way. But then soon after that, there's this lady, Senator Joni Ernst. She was asked about how the beautiful bill was going to, as the bill is right now, as it's being reviewed by the Senate, it would I think it takes like $850 million. No, billion, Jesus. $850 billion out of Medicaid, and it slashes food aid programs like SNAP. So she was being asked about that element of it, and her response was, one, she just started lying, like the lying talking point about that every one of these fucking people has been saying is, well, actually, we're only trying to push the illegals out of Medicaid, which is a fantasy notion that doesn't exist. Not undocumented.
Illegals?
Undocumented migrants do not get fucking Medicaid. Like, the only thing
Right.
you could possibly say is that in an emergency situation, they will get treatment.
Just like every American who doesn't have insurance?
Exactly. And I don't believe that even comes from Medicaid funds anyway. That I think
Right.
it comes from something else. But so she said that bullshit, and then people just kept screaming at her. And she's like, someone screamed out something effective, like, people are going to die because of this. And she goes, well, we're all going to die.
No. That, yeah, that was so good when everyone's going to die.
On a long enough timeline, the
The,
survival rate for everyone
The
drops
funds
to
for
0.
someone who gets emergency treatment but doesn't have any kind of insurance and never pays a bill actually comes out of the hospital's money. They can write it off on their taxes as a loss or whatever, but it's not covered by any fund. It's just illegal for them not to give the treatment, so they just have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the first things I thought of when I saw her say, well, we're all going to die.
Yeah, everyone's gonna die. It's
So good.
just the cold, accept the cold embrace of death.
Yeah, she was really ruminating there, getting real philosophical. It made me think of it like there's that line in a Fight Club where it's like
So soap heavy episode.
yes. I I can't think of Edward Norton's character is at like one of the self-help meetings, whatever. He meets, I don't know, whatever the sort of like love interest of the movie's name is. I'm like blanking on all kinds of names right now, whatever. Anyway, it's something like, well, we're all dying. And he's like, but I don't mean like in the Tibetan philosophy sense of of course we're all dying. We're all going to die.
I'm on to you.
What?
Yeah, you're a faker. You're not dying.
Sorry.
In the Tibetan philosophy, Sylvia Plath sense of the word, I know we're all dying, right? But you're not dying the way Chloe back there's dying.
So?
But yeah, she like actually kind of spoke that absurd, stupid way of talking into reality as a U.S. senator. I think she's a state senator or whatever. But then there was a follow up to it where she basically she did this like catty, sarcastic, quote unquote apology video. Did you see that?
Oh yes, I did. This was fantastic.
Maybe we should just play it.
I think that's a good idea. Actually,
Yeah,
I would like that quite a bit.
Let me find it. Oh, come on, Guardian! Don't you have the fucking video?
That's fucking bullshit.
Jesus. These people don't know how to fucking make videos. It sounds like shit. All right, hang on. Joni Ernst posts sarcastic apology for Medicaid comments that we're all going to die.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Jesus
yeah.
fucking Christ.
She was, I mean, I hate to say it, but she did boots the house down. She was completely serving cunt, and she absolutely slayed them in that video. So I hate to, give her any kind of credit because she's obviously morally repugnant, but we simply must stand.
Yeah, I feel defeated by the logic and the facts. I mean, do we even need to comment on that? Really, I guess. Like, she thinks she's doing something fucking so clever but all you're doing is very obviously not, you're just purposely misunderstanding what the person meant by people are going to die. You didn't get anybody on anything. Everyone knows what the real context was.
Right.
Well,
it's the classic Marge Simpson meme that's true, but he shouldn't say it. That is the situation that we are in. Yes, this is not correct. It's basically like a dad joke. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Hello, hungry. My name's Dad. Like saying, when someone says, this is going to kill everyone, and your answer is, well, everyone's going to die. It's like, yeah, that's true about everything. So why the fuck do we even have Congress? Let's just get rid of the fucking government because we're all going to die eventually anyways. So fuck it. Let's just not have any laws. Because nothing you do is going to stop me from dying.
The ultimate clapback would have been like the nihilistic assassin just shooting her in the fucking head right after she said that.
Oh, shit, okay.
But the somehow, like, the apology thing she just amplified the tone deaf cringe of it. Her closing it out though with a quick, My main man Jesus is waiting for you. It was pretty good though, actually.
I'm gonna give a big shout. I have to, I'll paraphrase the cartoon program The Boondocks when he says, "I want to give a big shout out to my N-word God." That's basically what she was saying there.
It's also funny too that she did the she basically kind of right before she said that though, she did kind of the Reddit atheist trope of oh, do you believe in the tooth fairy too?
Yeah, which is very good.
Do I got to tell you about the tooth fairy, you little baby? Also, believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's the one point where she tried to be serious. Pretty funny. Oh, a little bit more about the falling out shit. So some of the reactions to it were pretty funny as well, and also aligning with the abomination that was Welcome Fest, which I'm kind of just after I saw that Liz and Brace from TrueAnon attended Welcome Fest, I assume they're going to release an episode about it. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's also the reason I didn't really set that aside as a full topic to get into, but it does align with this. There was a response from Matt Iglesias, who was one of the main keynote motherfuckers at Welcome Fest. And his response to the fucking Trump and Musk lobbing nuclear posts at each other, he wrote, and he also called Hakeem Jeffries here. I don't know if that was on purpose or whatever. He said, I feel like Jeffries and Schumer...
Hakeem Jimmy Jeffries. Yeah.
Jeffries. I feel like Jeffries and Schumer should give Elon Musk a call and tell him about the Democratic Party's long-standing interest in electric cars, solar panels, space exploration, and a balanced deficit reduction. In other words, it's time to welcome the Nazi back into the fold because he's kind of parted ways with Trump. I don't know, it's just the ultimate. It's a fucking caricature of the rollover and play dead lib Democrat Party of philosophy on all of this shit. It's almost hard to take it seriously, but then again,
right.
Matt Iglesias has been cranking out stupid bullshit for a long, long time now.
Now Matt Iglesias? What's the name of his podcast? It's Fat Stupid. Is that the name of it?
Slow Boring, I believe.
Wait. Oh no. Oh, okay. I always get that confused. Anyways, yeah, that fucking moron.
Slow Boring, Fat Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing, I guess.
And then I saw Ian Miles Chong. He immediately planted his flag on Team Elon and said,
"Oh, good.
Where is it? Maybe I don't actually have it."
That makes sense with his history, with Adam Waffen or whatever. Seems like him and Elon probably agree on a lot of different things.
He basically said I don't know. I can't find it. Whatever. I think he just said something he went so much more above and beyond than he really needs to signal his allegiances. He's we also should impeach Trump and install JD Vance.
Perfect.
But yeah, it just made me think of the Ian Miles Chong, Matt Iglesias, horseshoe theory alliance coming to completion. The Chong Glacius horseshoe theory. Did you see Joe Rogan finding out about this? The Epstein, we'll call it the Epstein tweet, the Elon Epstein tweet in real time.
Oh, sure, yeah.
While he was interviewing,
No.
He was interviewing FBI Director Kash Patel.
I heard about yes. I saw the interview stuff. I didn't realize it was happening live as the tweet dropped or whatever.
Yeah, I basically just watched I will never watch an entire episode of the Joe Rogan Experience probably, but I did see probably a good 30 minutes of them talking about Epstein stuff because Kash Patel and what's his name, Bongino, have both been like saying that there's like some new video that just magically appeared that proves that Epstein killed himself, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's like a whole like story unto itself, I guess. But I mean, what they said about it is there's security footage. It exists. We've seen it with our own eyes, and we're going to release it. I think Bongino said something like, we're just waiting for like on the tech lab to like clean it up or something. It's just, it
Sure,
seems like they are truly gearing, like, and like, again, it wouldn't put anything beyond these people. They really seem like they're just gearing up to release an AI video.
Right.
And they've already said like what the contents are. They're like, it just shows that nobody went into his cell during the time that he killed himself. It's like, do you know how easy that would be to fake even without AI? Like,
Right. I mean, just clip out the part where someone goes in there and kills him.
yeah, and
Really just nice and simple.
nobody could possibly doctor timestamps.
No.
But also on top of that, so like the Epstein attempted and failed to commit suicide. I think a lot of people forget about that fact nowadays. And at the security video of that, like mysteriously disappeared with like a technical error. But then the same thing happened with the footage on the night that he actually successfully killed himself. Like, what are the odds? It's just so funny that like Joe Rogan was like, I don't know, slightly kind of like asking probing question, like pushing back slightly against this Kash Patel bullshit.
Right.
But like,
But then in the end, he did say, like, I trust Cash, though. I think,
yeah,
he's a good guy.
He just completely like rolled over, and like that also ties into did you see Alex Jones recently saying like Palantir's not so bad at the end of the day?
You know, everyone's problem with Palantir is just that they support Trump, but they're just doing. He basically did "We're all gonna die," but about like Big Brother spying, like the Panopticon, which has been his whole fucking thing,
His
for
whole career.
decades.
Yeah.
But he just did basically like, well, we're all gonna get spied on anyways, so might as well be by the people who like Trump. You know, like,
because
cool, man.
He even threw he like the thing was he didn't have to like talk about any of it, but he chose to.
Right.
He's like, people keep asking me about
Well-
Palantir. People keep asking me about Palantir. All right, I'm gonna weigh in here. Yeah, they are massacring Gazans with Palantir, and but his like silver lining was, yeah, but Daddy Trump is going to use it to throw out illegals, which is good, which is something I've always been for as Alex Jones my whole life.
Right.
It's people have pointed out in the past.
Right.
It is really hilarious to see people like Alex Jones and then like also like Joe Rogan has been like on like some conspiracy shit throughout his career too, right? I mean, and Kash Patel himself was like a huge QAnon guy. And now they're all just deferring to like, gotta just trust the state.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I lost.
No,
my train of
exactly.
thought.
It's
Because like they all fucking fillet the fucking CEO of a corporation that wants to put fucking brain chips inside everybody's head. You know, Musk with his fucking Neuralink shit. It's like the stuff that like. Yeah, it's just like I'm sure you can find like hundreds of hours of clips of Alex Jones talking about how they are going to try to put, chips into our brains and in our IDs and whatever. And it's like he's literally sucking off the people who are doing that now, or want to do it at least.
Right. Yeah.
But
exactly. It's.
Rogan finding out about the Elon tweet while having this ridiculous conversation with Cash Me Outside Patel was really good too, because you could just see the like I don't know, him not wanting to weigh in, because it's like with all these guys, like whose side are you going to choose? You've like thrown in completely on with both of them, like, but now you basically got to choose. So like watching them scramble, watching them try to rationalize some of this shit away is pretty hilarious. And now like the latest narrative seems to be there's like a bunch of like conservative copium out there that's like, this was all a plan to get Democrats to finally demand that the Epstein files get released. This was all.
That's the fucking. I mean, it's. I'm there. I see like there are positive things happening. Like even like when we started recording, I was just kind of talking about everything that's popping off here in Southern California, Los Angeles specifically, when it comes to like ICE and stuff. And it looks like there's a lot of street action happening, which is good. But yeah, it is kind of disenchanting to see like the big thing that's getting people fucking riled up is to be like, Kash Patel needs to release the truth about Epstein. At this point, like, who fucking cares? Like, it is so immaterial what the fuck was going on with Epstein, especially at this point now that he's dead. Like, can we just, like, focus on not fucking deporting and murdering everyone? Can that be the thing that we care more about? God damn it.
Which is why I can see people
like,
wanting to leap to the idea that this is like a big distraction from other things, but also it puts a focus on this spending bill, which is like a big deal and has a lot of horrible like potential consequences coming out of it. But I don't know. I'm still of the mind that it's very real because like I mean because like everyone like a lot of people were saying, some people were weirdly thought that it was actually a kind of leftist cope to just say, oh, the breakup's like imminent, like this can't last, like look at the personalities of the people involved, of course they're gonna like something's gonna blow up like this between them. But yeah, I thought I saw some video. It was just like some fucking nobody fucking wearing a MAGA hat talking about it, but
right.
real condescending, just like, you idiots, you took the bait, and now we're finally going to get the Epstein. This was like a MAGA person. We're finally going to get the Epstein files released. Like,
oh,
how does that follow? Like, your guy's in charge. The only reason none of this shit has been released is almost certainly because, as Musk said, which almost everyone is already aware of, Trump is definitely like, there's probably not like some slam dunk like case against him or anything, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's like other evidence possibly out there. But anyway, to your point about like, this also doesn't really matter at all, I totally agree with, because like if you followed this Epstein case, like even just like a little bit on the surface level, all of the real damning evidence is either like in some vault with Mossad or the CIA or both at this point. And,
well,
yeah.
And it does beg the question, right? Because like saying like, oh, you absolute fucking fools. We're now gonna finally get the truth because Trump is in there. I do want to be like, who was president when Epstein, quote unquote, didn't kill himself? You know what I mean? Like, who was running the show
right.
when that happened? Like, it's great how much they just easily forget that kind of stuff. Like, that is like probably the best part about like the MAGA / Q people. When I say best, I mean like best for Trump, is like, they make more excuses for him than he does. Trump is like Obama being like, yeah, we tortured some folks. Like, that is, Trump is just like, he just admits it. He doesn't care. What did he say when they called him out? He's like, oh, are they angels? When they said that he was fucking, basically committing war crimes. He's like, you think they don't have killers on their side, was his response.
Right.
He didn't even try to defend himself. But QAnon goes out of their way to be like, actually, God, Emperor, Professor, millionaire, billionaire, genius Trump, he was doing 5-dimensional chess and solving this because he's a white hat pedophile or whatever. Like, Jesus Christ.
And then also there was another like mid interview. Yeah, JD Vance was on the Theo Vaughn podcast, and I think JD Vance like kind of pretended to be like, oh, I don't even really know what's going on. Like this just happened. And I think it did just basically happen. I think he even said like, the biggest news of the feud, whatever blow up happened while he was like on the plane coming to Theo Vaughn. But anyway, Theo Vaughn brought up the whole thing and tried to get Vance to weigh in on it. And of course he just like, equivocated and said like, Elon's actually still pretty based, cool guy. He just doesn't like government. And, it was kind of dumb, whatever. I just thought it was funny that these two big figures of MAGA like found out mid podcast or whatever.
Those two are kind of perfect for each other because they really are the second string dregs of their respective movements, but are somehow like forced into the top spots of Theo Vaughn and JD Vance. It's like this is how America is fucking cooked. We don't have Frost Nixon. We have fucking Vaughn Vance.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't bode well for the culture, I'd say. Okay, I guess slightly moving on, although very related. We're just talking about the Rogan.
It's all the same shit.
Rogan sphere.
Just like life is death in the eternal circle of everything. Ashes to ashes and all this and that. Everything is one. It's just the singularity. All of the, every atom in your body was forged in the infernal, in the furnace of the sun. So yes, of course, all things are related.
I've noticed you've been getting real Carl Sagan-esque in the last couple episodes that way.
I've been thinking a lot about dying lately.
It's gonna be fine, sweetie.
I appreciate that, Claire, but
you are, you poor thing.
Regardless of how this particular thing works itself out, I will be dying. And so will you. And so will everyone here. And that's what I want to explore. We're all hurtling towards death. Yet here we are for the moment, alive. Each of us knowing we're going to die. Each of us secretly believing we won't.
It's brilliant. It's everything. To carry my top.
Yeah.
We are star stuff indeed. Including even the most repulsive parts of the universe, such as the Daily Wire and Rogan Sphere, which
I thought you were going to say the Weinstein brothers, but
they're part of that. The intellectual dark
true.
web. It's all
IDW.
It's all of a piece. And I've just been getting. I put my little Vibe antenna up, and my Vibometer says, and there's a few objective criteria I've very quickly Googled or whatever that this place seems to be sort of on the downturn, or at least it feels like there's an even bigger percentage of the internet that's just kind of done with this shit. And it basically look, this all might just be my perspective as someone who's like watching people rip on this crowd all the time, but it just, I don't know. Have you gotten the general sense that there's there's a beginning, at least, of maybe a slow motion collapse on all this shit? It's like losing some of its cultural cred.
It already has like a ton of it, and
But the problem is they're all still rich. They all still make a ton of money off this shit. That aspect hasn't changed, but on the vibes level, right, yeah.
I think so. This is the thing. Number one, yes, when it comes to that part, it's hard to turn the ship around when it comes to the big, massive Titanic-esque size of these people just have massive wealth. I've talked about it over the years, subscribers, people who just subscribe to things and basically just it's the same business model as fucking, HBO, Stars, whatever. And then fucking Netflix, now Amazon, all this. They want to get you on the subscription wheel and then you just never get off of it, right? Yes, they make the money, but cultural purchase, cultural relevance is like, I think you're even kind of undershooting the idea that I think that they absolutely they really have no cultural cachet left. They still have money, power, influence, but culturally, but here's the negative, here's the drawback. And I don't love the idea of going like full idiocracy or whatever, but it definitely kind of is the case. The problem is not that people are rejecting their politics, their opinions, or their stupidity, but they're just like, we don't need the facade anymore. The point of the IDW was to be like, Steve Saylor noticing style. Hey, have you ever seen these crime statistics, these FBI crime statistics that show that black people are bad or whatever? And it's just being replaced with like, I don't care, I'm racist. That is like this is like a common refrain. You see it constantly now. And when people, like any of these like people who break down posts, talk about the internet, because that's like a lane of entertainment now, is people who just talk about posts or whatever. Shout out to kind of the original of that Report This Post podcast that's like slowly, weirdly like dying on the vine as a Patreon only podcast that you can't even, like, they don't even do free episodes or anymore, but they always would just like read like posts from freaks on the internet. But like the amount of comments now that include just people saying, I'm racist, just proudly admitting to being a racist. That is why the IDW has no cultural cachet anymore, is that societally, most people are just like, they have dug in and they don't care. They're not trying to put on airs and pretend like they're intellectual or anything anymore. They're just like, no, I'm a racist person and I just believe the stupidest shit possible. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to be like the Weinstein brothers and pretend like you have a degree even though you're fucking dog shit stupid. You can just be like, no, I'm very dumb and I hate black people. Like, nobody clipped that, goddammit. That was not me. I wasn't actually saying that.
Yeah, I think that probably has a lot to do with it. And then like maybe people that kind of like got suckered into the whole thing as, oh, it's not racist. It's just people having conversations about having conversations.
It's just noticing.
And noticing, yeah, capital N noticing. Yeah, like a bunch of examples that popped up over the last like 2 weeks that I saw that were pretty. Basically, this is all just like Schadenfreude fodder for me and for people of my ilk, I guess. Like
sure.
Charlie Kirk getting fucking just absolutely crushed at Cambridge was pretty great. Because the thing is, and I saw also the same basic thing happened to Ben Shapiro. I think Shapiro went to like Oxford, whatever. They were both in England doing formal debate. That was the thing. That's what makes the difference, is when they're actually having to do formal debate, like with a debate society at an elite university. My God, they can't even use any of their fucking old tricks. And it was so satisfying to watch. The only one left that I want to see go to, next, it will be like Steven Crowder goes to fucking
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz. He debates.
I want to see Steven
debate at Auschwitz.
No, not a debate. I mean more like I want him sent to an intern camp where they murder him. But yes,
got it. The other big one was Jordy Peterman doing his Jubilee against 20 atheists versus a Christian, which then got edited to read versus Jordan Peterson, because he's not a fucking he's like this incredibly wishy-washy, like, I'm kind of a Christian but not, even though I saw,
what does it mean to believe,
right?
That's what he says.
What do you mean by believe? That was good. I mean, I just watched the clips. I'm not watching all of this shit. There was one particular girl who just really did, like, I'm not like a debate guy who's like, I was watching like these online debates because usually they're fucking bullshit, but seeing the formal debate against Charlie Kirk in Cambridge, there was this one particular girl who just crushed him, and it was really funny to me that she was wearing an American flag T-shirt, which I think must have been a subtle fuck you or somehow
Right.
her not being American. I mean, there was what and like Rogan's content seems to be like getting worse and worse, and although it's funny, he's still having on like whatever the technology brothers to like just to launder their fucking crimes, and people like Cash App Patel. But even what was the Demons Are Real? Who was he just talking to a comedian during that one? You and I watched the R.M. Brown.
Damn it! Yes,
make fun of
yes.
That was pretty
Fuck.
good.
Oh,
this the other thing too is
Yeah.
Rogan is supposedly attending church now, so he's just like, it's
it
funny.
wasn't. It wasn't
It's like,
demons. Sorry. It wasn't demons. It was dragons.
no, it was demons, 100%.
I'm trying to
The
think what she
RM
was
the
saying,
RM
like-
Brown video is entitled "Demons Are Real."
Okay. Well, he also argued
The
that
dragons
are
thing,
real.
dragons
Jordan
thing
Peterson.
is old. Jordan Peterson did talk about
Yes,
dragons.
yes.
But
Yes,
but
yes,
Joe,
that was
Joe,
what I was confusing with.
There was a Joe Rogan thing about dragons too, but that was
Yes.
from like a while ago. This was like the other
Right.
day, the demons thing, where
Yes.
where Joe Rogan is talking to some comedian I've never heard of, and it's so.
Oh, Joey Coco Diaz.
No,
Yes.
no, it was somebody else. It was somebody I'd never heard of.
Okay.
Leon James, Indian film composer. He's not even a comedian. He's says here film composer. But
Okay, good.
but it was just like, okay, nobody knows this guy, so Rogan just takes the opportunity to like do his talking points and like look up at the ceiling and muse on things. And part of the musing was he just can't help himself. He's still talking about how Elon Musk. It's so ridiculous that people think Elon Musk did a Z-Guile. He was just saying, "My heart goes out to you." It's like he's still on that shit. He's still talking about this. But then that somehow turned
Right.
into him wondering if demons could be real, which that itself was.
I mean,
pretty
they have
good.
to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. This is all to say I'm enjoying watching all of these fucking assholes be more publicly embarrassed than I think I've ever seen them before. Like they've always been on some bullshit, obviously,
Sure,
that like
yeah.
most people can see through, but like it just seems more obvious, like even to like the most casual normie passerby. Yeah, like watching Eric Weinstein get like completely humiliated on the Piers Morgan show by an actual physicist, because Eric Weinstein's got this whole thing where he's like, I'm being persecuted. The scientific establishment is too afraid of my edgy theory of everything, which like if you dig into it, and I will recommend a video about that at the end of the podcast today. But if you dig into his paper that he wrote, it's just like complete gibberish. But anyway, I guess speaking of Piers Morgan, and this we can close out on this general topic,
Sure.
and vibe shifts and whatnot. It seems like there's a vibe shift going on concerning genocidal acts of Israel. Piers Morgan is like one of the prime examples that I've seen the most, who has like the most market turn, I guess. Recently, he's just like going off on like these Israeli spokespeople and like members of the Knesset and things like that on his show. He's invoking the G word. Part of it is like this most recent leg of the siege, the starvation campaign for the last like 3 months, basically. So people are like more, I mean, because this shit's been going on the whole time. So I don't even want to say like this is what's responsible for the change. Maybe it's just fatigue. It's like the Hasbara machine is just failing to intercept all of this stuff. But there was like a whole like rash of like people kind of like changing their tune basically all at once the last like couple weeks. Like people in the British and French governments were coming out and saying like, you know, they're still not using the word genocide, but there's basically what it is they've amped it up to instead of just collateral damage, now it's war crimes. So there is like a real shift in the way people are talking about this, which is good, obviously, even though of course it it pisses me off so much because a lot of it just seems like obviously to be ass covering and like, quick, get on the right side of history at the last second, like as the final solution is going down. Because there was, a lot of just more horrible shit as always. But like the recent version of it was like weaponizing aid and basically corralling people together in Gaza with the promise of aid and then opening fire on them. And like, the Hasbaras coming out and trying to say like, well, the only reason we killed all these desperate, starving people with guns is because they were advancing on us. Or then they were like, they were pointing to some other video footage of like a firefight that broke out, and they were saying like, this is Hamas opening fire, and then they can't stop, telling on themselves because that particular video footage, which wasn't connected to the aid distribution stuff at all, it was totally separate. So even if you were going to say like Hamas like opened fire on the aid distribution, so they had to, the IDF had to rain down bullets from helicopters on the masses of regular people, non-combatants. That's not even what happened. The video footage was from a separate incident, and it wasn't even Hamas. So it's just like lies upon lies upon lies, standard shit. And it turns out, like forensic examination of the video, there are like these ISIS affiliated gangs in Gaza that are like just like local people, but they're funded by, given weapons directly from the IDF. And even now, like previous former prime ministers of Israel are coming out and just saying this is genocide. These are war crimes, obviously. I think that's part of what's turned Piers Morgan around, because he, in all the kind of clips I've been seeing, he references that a lot. He's like, now that like a former prime minister of Israel saying it, like I can say it. Who else? Fucking cunt Smirkula, Matt Miller, who like vanished from the news until recently, resurfaced on a podcast or some shit, and was asked
just
about
to be
this.
Stupid. He was like, it was another like, you could have just said nothing type of guy. Why did you decide to come back to make an ass of yourself? They can't help it. It's like a moth to the flame. They need attention.
It's that, but I think it's also what I was saying before. This is preemptive ass covering. This is like, oh, quick, get on the right side of history. It's like it's winding down. Like everyone can kind of sense that like this is coming to some terrible end, probably sooner than later. But yeah, what did he say? He was like,
sure, but what's going to happen to him? He's not. Does he have any kind of career he's trying to do? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's pretty much done when it comes to like the public eye. I don't know.
I mean, I think he's got something cooking. I don't know. But I mean, I take your point, but I think just generally speaking, I mean, it's the same thing with the fucking Biden historical revisionism. It's people just pretending. I mean, it's the great phrase that, I forget the writer's name, but there's a book about Gaza that's called "One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This." That's the phrase that's been running through my head this whole time. Apologies to that author who I just can't conjure it up at the moment, but whatever. It's a great phrase, and it like applies to all of this phenomenon. Because there's so many examples, really. There's like, and it's people in Israel, it's people around the world that were like fiercely like, how dare you call this a genocide? And now they're like, well, yeah, actually, it seems like it is. But then they're also being dishonest by saying like it wasn't, and now it is. Like, no, it from the get-go. Like, not the only thing that's changed is that it's been going on for 600 plus days instead of a few weeks or whatever, or months when you were fully supporting it. And whatever, who gives a shit about John Fetterman?
shit. No, but like everything, like kind of that what you're talking about here, and like the vibe shift, the sentiment shift when it comes to, you know, the genocide. I'll just say, right? Obviously is 100% true, but it also kind of doesn't matter because, like, you know, what I saw just recently, that means a lot more than any of that is I Show Speed, like, saying free Palestine and then getting pushback from, like, an Israeli citizen who's a fan of his and being like, the guy is saying, no, that's bad. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? People are being murdered? And he's like, no, it's bad. No, free Palestine is a bad. He's like, no, it's like, it's good. Like, I'm not, you know, saying anything bad about, like, Israelis. I'm just saying, like, Palestinians don't deserve to be fucking genocided. And that, I Show Speed saying that on a stream means way more than, again, cunt Chocula deciding to be like, or it's cunt Smugula, whatever, being like, oh, actually, you know, they were telling me to say that, but I didn't mean it, or whatever. Yeah, it's way more important to have I Show Speed telling billions, millions and billions of fucking, you know, Zoomers and
gamers,
whatever is after Zoomers, fucking, and gamers, like, free Palestine. That's a lot bigger, you know, when it comes to cultural relevance.
It is big. I'm kind of surprised to hear that he hadn't said it until so recently. He hadn't, like, come out
sure
strong.
Well, I mean, Speed is, like, not a political... He, like, really stays out of politics. That's, like, not his lane at all. You know?
I had never heard of the guy until he was doing all that stuff in China, which seemed sort of... I mean, it was politicized at the very least. But it also seemed like he just does that stuff. He goes to, like, different countries and shows what it's like to be there, basically. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that probably does. I mean that does have more for weight to it than. Well, no, I mean Matt Miller doing what he did is not going to change anybody's mind about anything. I don't think. Well, I don't know. Actually, like certain like liberal Zionists, I think it has a collective effect to, like, when enough people that are, you know, whatever normie types, like liberal types or whatever, or even conservatives, like, start just more honestly talking about what's going on. I think it does give us, like, a certain kind of permission to a certain type of person in America, at the very least. You know, your mainstream normie types, whatever. I think it does matter. Like, I mean, Matt Miller by himself doesn't matter, but, like, I think the Piers Morgan thing seems significant to me. I don't know. His show is pretty popular, right? Pierced Organ, we love him.
He gets those clicks. He gets the views. That means, you know, it's obviously it's the edict passed down from the great R.M. Brown that makes it news. So yes, Piers is very important.
But also, I mean, this probably should go without saying, but I'll just say it anyway. Like, all these fucking turncoat people that are just, like, cynically changing their tune, and I think even people that, you know, might be more sincere about it or whatever, I feel like they should not, like, people should really hang on to the fucking receipts, and, like, maybe when the dust kind of settles on the whole situation, like, just really fucking remind these people where they were for the first 600 days of the genocide, because I don't know, I hate the idea of, like, them getting away with it. I mean, you know what? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it really fucking matters, but maybe in terms of, like, their careers and stuff, it's like, because if the pivot, like, say, just Piers Morgan as an example, if this is his pivot now, this is going to be part of his career, but it's like, no, motherfucker, you were running coverage for the Israeli government for 600 days. Like, just nonstop. I mean, I guess he did actually bring on some good, whatever, like, pro-Palestinian voices, but it was the whole point of him doing that was just to, like, have people scream at each other. So anyway, but occasionally I guess some good information would get thrown out there, but
yeah.
There's also, like, as we record, the Freedom Flotilla, the Madeleine Gaza Flotilla is very close to reaching Gaza, and I'm personally been on edge about this for like the last week because, as we talked about on the show briefly, I think when it happened, activists tried to bring a ship to Gaza with aid just about a month ago. I mean, it seems like a million years ago, as always.
Oh yeah,
the flat circle, the time warp, and it got. I did look into the story a little bit more, and I think there might have been some minor injuries. But anyway, the ship had to turn around because it was struck by missiles from drones that officially have not been claimed by Israel. But I mean, come on, who else would fucking do this? Obviously,
who can say?
And I believe Greta Thunberg, or Thunberg, as I'm now hearing people say her name.
Face Thunberg, that's what we call her.
She is awesome. We're big fans here. But she's on this current flotilla along with some like Irish actor whose name escapes me, who's like on the Game of Thrones or something, and basically like this time they've got some like prominent celebrities. So and they've basically reached Gaza. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I think the Israeli military has already said they're not going to like allow them to enter and bring the aid in, even though their story lately is they're desperately trying to get aid to Gaza now after starving them for fucking 90 days straight. And you know, as we already mentioned, there was the whole fucking aid distribution massacres going on. But yeah, Lady G, Lindsey Graham, famously, now I guess somewhat famously, tweeted out that he hopes Greta and her cohorts can swim, or whatever he fucking said, which is obviously gross, disgusting. Right. I don't know. They're brave. They're heroes, like unironically. So I hope. I don't know how this is going to end. Like, it's hard to imagine them allowing the aid in. Like, it seems like almost the best case scenario is that no one on the flotilla gets killed, because students of history will know that there was like a flotilla massacre in 2010. It was the same kind of deal, except the Israeli Navy boarded the ship and killed 10 people, just shot them. And then, in classic lying Hasbarist fashion, piled up all the kitchen knives that were on board and like wooden sticks and shit. And we're like, these were the weapons they were trying to smuggle into Gaza. So we had to just murk all these motherfuckers. So I don't know. I guess I'm saying like prayers up to the flotilla and good on them for trying to do anything. I saw this like counter fucking propaganda, whatever you want to call it, a response to the flotilla.
The little Israeli kids. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, it was so fucked up.
It's brutal.
It's like probably the most fucked up like propagandist use of children since that children's choir was singing openly murderous Holocaust type lyrics. Remember that back in the day? Way back in 2023 now. Yeah, it's like it immediately reminded me of that. That awesome song that the Israeli state media posted and then immediately took down because even they realized how fucked up it was. But it does live on in the Electronic Intifada website if you don't know what I'm talking about and want to find it. Because everyone should see that awesome video of little kids going, "In a year, they will all be dead. We will kill them all." Like, this is literally the lyrics.
Right. Yeah.
Like set to video montage of like exploding fucking hospitals and shit. Unreal. There's more shit on the list, but we should probably wrap it up. Yeah. We'll leave the AI stuff for later. Stuff I've been trying to talk about for weeks, but just can't find the time.
Listen, it'll still be there later.
Oh, this is in your neck of the woods. We'll close out with this. Did you see the MMA thing? The Irish MMA fighter?
Probably.
One Paddy McCory. You saying this guy's Irish with a name like Paddy McCory? Shouts "Free Palestine" whilst battering 10 shades of shit out of the Israeli fighter Shuki Faraj, who was a former, I think is actually current IDF soldier, possibly. Whatever.
That makes sense, yeah.
But that was
I saw it.
It was
very good.
It's
Very cool.
We'll close on a feel good story like that.
Shout out to Real Ass Dude of the Week.
I think in further reporting upon the MMA incident, he also had screamed, "You're a child killer" or something like that into this guy's face as he was like had him on the ground and was knocking him out or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know fighting terms.
Yeah. I will say that this goes back. It is the same Marge Simpson meme. Yes, it's true, but he probably shouldn't say it. But either way, again, still, we do not revoke the Real Ass Dude of the Week title from Paddy Mc. What was it? Paddy
McCory.
Boozing Up or whatever the fuck his name was. Anyways, good guy.
Traditional Irish name. Some general recommendations then.
Sure.
Last night I watched the entirety of season 2 of The Rehearsal, and it was fucking glorious. Have you seen that yet?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh man, I think I kind of like unconsciously saved it up so I could just watch it all at once. I was like howling. I was just like by myself watching it, but I was like howling with laughter at like a bunch of points. But it's also like, I don't want to say anything about it because like I didn't read anything about it. I wanted to go in completely fresh, and I think everyone else should do the same. So I'll just say, if you like Nathan Fielder, or even if you haven't seen, you should watch The Rehearsal season 1, of course. But
all of
I
it,
think I think I liked season 2 even more, and it was just it was amazing.
Yeah.
And a couple other things I had listed before I watched The Rehearsal. There's this YouTube video, some nerdy shit, non-comedy, just straight up nerd shit. A materialist approach to the tech industry. Interesting interview with this like technology academic type guy who, he's just talking about tech issues from a very, we'll say, hardlined Marxist perspective that I found really interesting, and you can check that out in the notes with the general recommendations. There will be a link, and a link also to this guy, Professor Dave, whose whole thing is like, he's like a kind of a I fucking love science kind of guy, which can be kind of cringy, but I still manage to enjoy some of the videos I've seen of his. And he just, the main ones I've watched are him going after Terrence Howard, which is just hilarious because the whole Terrence Howard thinking he's a scientific genius thing is hilarious. But that also ties into Eric Weinstein, and I'll just link to a couple of his videos, including the Brett and Eric Weinstein Brothers in Fraudulence video that he did. If you can get past like his occasional use of like sort of cringy insult terms like douche nozzle and like waffle fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't do it all the time, but it does pop up now and then. But I would say like, just fucking look past that. And I don't know. I find some of the thorough debunking, but in like a very, crass dirtbag left kind of way, I guess you could say, to be enjoyable, especially if you know how fucking awful some of these people are. Like the Weinstein brothers are just fucking unbearable. And he destroys the all caps YouTube title, destroys.
Fucking anally rapes them with his brain.
Exactly. All right, those are my recommendations. You got anything?
I just finished Move to Heaven. It's I guess a K-drama kind of. It's a soap opera. It's from South Korea. It's about a trauma cleaning family It was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. There was some stuff on it that I found kind of weird that I was going to ask you about, like Korean culturally. But the one thing that I thought was odd is like you have the subtitles that are like showing what they're saying, but like the main character kid who's supposed to be like autistic or whatever, like every fucking thing that he says ends with meta. Like every time he's saying anything, he ends it by saying meta, and it doesn't. There's not like a repeating word in his like in the subtitles. I was like, why is that like that?
Hang on, I got you. I was like, what are you talking about? What is mate? Like it's a really common way of just ending. It's a really common way of ending sentence. It's just a verb. It's like a it's a tacked on sound to any root verbs. It's mida. It's like to say thank you. You say 감사합니다. So
that was it. Like, but yeah. So I was gonna. I figured it was something like that, but I just wanted to like bring it up to you, really. Like,
I can understand. Like, I remember when I first moved here, and I would like listen to like I don't know, like people reading the news on the radio or TV or something, and just constantly ending with that. I was like, what is this word? And it's not a word. Yeah. It's a formal way of or like sort of polite level way of ending a verb,
closing
ending.
A stanza or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but anyways, it's a interesting, sappy, sweet kind of show that also mixes in some stuff where like his adopted brother or uncle or whatever who shows up is like an MMA fighter in like sleazy underground fight club stuff. So that even circles back into some stuff that we talked about on the podcast episode tonight. But it was decent,
Nice. People do like those K-dramas. I've seen a few. There's a lot. They are plentiful.
Yeah.
Especially, I feel like Netflix is really stacked with Korean dramas, it feels like.
Yeah, it's picking them up. Yeah.
So what you're going to want to do is click on the episode description and go to our Discord server, join that, come on by, say some stuff, say hi, and check out the other links, show notes, etc. The show notes are plentiful. And in the episode description, you'll see links to other stuff Tim's doing, including a podcast he has outside of this podcast. Tim, what's that podcast all about?
That is a wrestling podcast that has been consecutively releasing episodes for like almost 2 months now, every week. So shout out to us for pulling that off. It's kind of called QNTR. It's on the Violent People Podcasting Network. You can find it at violentpeople.co. And you can follow the podcast. You can follow the podcast on Twitter, trying to push this because we don't have any followers for the account, at QNTR. It's, Q and spelled out, TR, the word ARE spelled out. I heard one person one time refer to it as Q and tear, which I was like, oh, I kind of like that. Either way, follow that on Twitter. And check out the podcast, blah, blah, blah. Join the Discord for that too, if you want to talk about wrestling stuff. But, that's fine. Join the Heat Death Discord first and see, dip your toe in there and then see what you think. And then maybe you can, move on from that. But start there.
All right. And as Senator Joni Ernst and singer-songwriter Scout Niblett always say when asked about the bipartisan death cult of austerity, well, we're all gonna die. Good night, good luck. Good morning, Vietnam.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We don't we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?